Because JKR got bored on the train. Thank you, Aaron, Grace, and Sarah. This is MuggleCast episode 59 for October 14th, 2006. CYGoDaddy.com is the #1 domain registrar worldwide. Now with your domain name registration, you'll get hosting, a free blog, complete email, and much more. Plus, as a MuggleCast listener, enter code RON, that's R-O-N, when you check out, and get your .com domain name for just $6.95 a year. Get your piece of the internet today at GoDaddy.com.
As magic is a manifestation of the mind, the Amortentra made manifestation of the requirement of arousing among a monster, and a magic monsters and men and women of matchless mystical merit. Unfortunately, most members of mankind miscarry the mirth and message of miraculous building for mythical memoirs as macabre malicious microscoping many from American to Majora macerate when mindless mystical merriment and examination. The main medicine is MuggleCast, the montage of mad modulations of muggles with mutual mania for the imagine of a momentous mother maker of modern mabinogean. This mostly male and immature miscellany when emblemated on name Micah, Andrew, Ben, Kevin, Eric, Jamie, and Laura, and I'm Jamie Lawrence.
I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Kevin Steck.
I'm Laura Thompson.
And I'm Micah Tannehill.
And I'm tired after
I wrote that for you, Jamie.
That was...
Wow, you did the first time.
No, Stephanie. That was Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie.
We're back for another week of MuggleCast. No Ben this week, unfortunately.
Sorry, did you say unfortunately? I misheard you there, actually. I'm joking, Ben. I love you, Ben.
I think Laura Mallory actually got to him.
Yeah. Literally, she got to him, killed him, buried him.
Eric Skull, New Zealand, California, Vegas,
New York,
wherever else he went.
Chicago.
New York. It wasn't enough. He's in Chicago this week.
I think you said Miami's next, right, Andrew?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Miami. Yeah, at this rate.
What, he's actually going this now? As in after Chicago?
Yes, Jamie. Yes, he's going to Miami.
It's a cross-country tour.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know.
Considering he goes halfway around the world every single week. And then
Hey,
comes
you know
up and
what?
still works 18 hours a day.
I think everybody should write to the MuggleCast email saying where they think Eric will go next.
Yeah.
Where's
You get
Eric?
a free T-shirt if you guess the city, hotel,
Yeah.
time, place,
Yeah.
and
It's a
everything.
twist on Where's Waldo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I have a feeling he'll be done after the Chicago trip.
But Kevin, you could spot Eric really easily because he'd just be wearing his Hogwarts robes on the photo.
That's true.
It'd be easy to spot.
Oh,
That's
speaking
true.
of Hogwarts robes, we got to talk about what we're all going to be for Halloween. Because I know what I'm going to be. And all of you could probably guess.
What?
But first...
Bono.
No, not Bono. That's a good idea. No, not Bono. But first, Micah Tannenbaum, you have the past week's top Harry Potter news stories.
The Portuguese Harry Potter translator Isabella Nunes has reportedly confirmed in an interview with a Portuguese fan site that RAB does indeed stand for Regulus Arcturus Black. Apparently before book 6 hit shelves, she contacted Joe about the character's gender and was told the full name as well as the gender. A reason for shedding light on the topic at this point is to keep awake the excitement for the 7th book. In the past, Nunes also clarified that Blaise Zabini is a man and Professor Sinistra is a woman. Last month we told you about a new cover for Quidditch Through the Ages, included in the Harry Potter Schoolbooks box set, along with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Now the cover for the latter has emerged online. Both books benefit UK charity Comic Relief and can be purchased on Amazon.com. Shameless plug. In movie news, a recent breakthrough in film technology developed by Image Metrics allows a computer to map an actor's performance onto any character, virtual or human, living or dead. The developers say it is far superior to standard hand-drawn computer graphics, which are very costly and time-consuming. Warner Brothers will use this technology in the depiction of Grawp, played by Tony Maudsley in Order of the Phoenix, which will surely bring Hagrid's giant half-brother to life. While in New York City for the premiere of his new film Driving Lessons, Rupert Grint sat down for a chat with AM New York, where he discussed filming on Order of the Phoenix. He said they shot the thestral scenes recently and that it was a really good time because they had to make a mold, a specially made harness that goes under your legs because in the film it has to be invisible. They put you on this crane and lifted you up in the air. That's been my favorite scene so far. Speaking of the fifth film, the first theatrical teaser trailer for Order of the Phoenix will be released Friday, November 17th in front of the WB Film Happy Feet. And additional information has emerged this week on Daniel Radcliffe's appearance as Alan Strang in the London West End play at Keys. Apparently 60 audience members will be seated on the stage itself, with the rest in the stalls and circle. The play, written by Peter Schaffer, will run in the round for 16 weeks. Previews will begin on February 16th, and the official opening is scheduled for the 27th. Rehearsals will commence January 3rd. And tied into a topic we mentioned on last week's show, finally, the online hangout MySpace.com will organize 20 concerts featuring bands promoted on its site as part of a campaign to raise awareness and money for humanitarian relief in Sudan. We'll have complete information on this in the show notes. That's all the news for this October 14th, 2006 edition of MuggleCast. Back to the show.
Okay, thank you, Micah. Anyway, guys, Halloween. What are y'all going to be for Halloween?
What am I going to be for Halloween, Andrew? I'm going to be a Target employee.
Oh.
Because that's what I'm doing on Halloween.
That sounds
Yay,
real interesting.
me.
What is that, a nice red polo shirt with a little Target
Yeah, with
logo
my
on there?
lame khaki pants. Go
Your
me.
khaki pants? Yeah.
I was thinking a belligerent college student. What do you think?
I was
So
expecting you
just
to
walk
be
around
Bill
all
Gates, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to be boring. I'm going to stay in and I'm just going to drop kick people's pumpkins when they ask me for
Okay, so
chocolate treats.
so he's going to be
You're not going to steal their candy.
No, I am. You know, you should learn that life is a complete disappointment early in life. You know, you shouldn't have to wait until you're like a teenager or older. So when they come round, I'm going to steal their candy, drop kick their pumpkins, and tell them that if they ever come back here again, I'm going to sort them out. Yeah, I'm sorting them out. You know,
Michael, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know. I don't think I could top Jamie's stealing candy from children, but
just do the same then.
just do the same.
Yeah, I would. Laura,
I know,
that's wrong when you say you can't be too old for Halloween.
You're never too old for Halloween.
That's not true. If you're
Well, no.
110 and you can't move, you should not be dressing up as a vampire and going
Excuse
around
me,
for candy.
Jamie, if you're 110, then Halloween's the perfect holiday for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't even have to dress up.
It's true, yeah.
Although I'm sure. No. Come on. I think you can be too
No,
old
you're
for
wrong.
it.
I don't think you can.
Hey,
I'm not wrong.
Halloween,
It's
I'll
like
remind
when,
you
go
all,
on.
Halloween is J.K. Rowling's favorite holiday. So, you can never be too
Well, that
old
doesn't
for
mean you can. That's good, but it doesn't mean you can't be too old for it.
I never said. I said you can't be too old for
I mean,
Halloween. It's an awesome
I'm not
holiday.
going to be going trick or treating.
Well, it doesn't mean you have to trick or
I'm a little
treat.
too old for that. Yeah. Well, I'm
What
going
else
to
are
be.
you meant to do then?
Everyone in my school, like everyone I was sort of outed this year with the whole Harry Potter thing. So I'm going to be Harry Potter. Yeah.
Really?
Really?
No cloak.
Doesn't
Do you remember
Doesn't being
last
Harry
year
don't
when
have a
people
cloak?
dressed up as us?
Yeah.
No.
We had that contest.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't
that
that
was
weird?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But I'm gonna be hosting the morning show program that we do, and we have to
Nice.
dress up. And me and my friend, I'm gonna be Harry Potter. I'm gonna
But
wear
hey-
the vested. What?
Doesn't being Harry Potter just involve drawing a scar and putting on some glasses?
Scarf.
That's what
glasses?
everyone seems
Well,
to
not
do.
scarf. Yeah, scar glasses. I'm gonna wear the gray vest.
Dye your hair
the-
black as well.
The tie,
Oh,
the white undershirt.
Yeah, Andrew, do you
the
have
black pants.
Do you have the Triwizard Cup still? You can
Yeah, I
bring
do.
that around.
Yeah.
The one you were
You
supposed
know
to
what
give
this
away
reminds me
like
of?
3 months ago.
I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin.
Okay.
I was actually hired to work on MuggleNet on Halloween. So this
really?
Halloween's going to be my 2-year anniversary. Yes.
That was
Oh,
a sad
wow.
day in MuggleNet history.
It's been downhill from there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's what they'll say.
Let's get people up to date here with some things we're doing around the podcast. We have the new website up. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed that. We've gotten a lot of good feedback about it. We're
Even
working
though
on
the
the comments.
don't work.
Yeah, we're working on that. It's a MuggleNet server issue. It's not really our fault. And also every week we're going to be making a roundup post that'll basically go over what the feedback was of the previous week's show. And Laura did the first one for episode 58. And without the comments, we have no way of telling people
If you
liked
guys
it or not.
actually liked it.
Yeah. But
So if you guys hated it, just write me and tell me you hated it. And
it'll just be a good way of, keeping the site fresh and going over some people's feedback. Mikey, you got an update about the transcripts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the database is finally up to date after a couple of months. I think since about the summertime we've had some problems getting things up to you guys in a timely fashion, but everything should start to be moving along smoothly. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. We're still working on LA with Leaky and episode 58 and now 57 and now 59, so we might get backed up a little bit.
Cool.
But I want to take just a moment to thank everyone. This is going to be like a one of Jamie's V for Vendetta lists right here.
Hey.
Because there are a lot of people. But just to thank the transcribers, I'm just going to go through the list real quick. Shelly, Shannon, Sarah, Roni, Megan, Marty, Mandy, Judy, Jessica, Amanda, Allie, Adrian, Matthew. And then we have 3 editors, Margaret, Eloise, and Allison. And we just added 2 this week, Samantha and Brianna. So thanks you guys.
Thank you. Look at this team Micah has built. You've done an
I know.
excellent job, Micah.
Yeah.
To think that I
members.
used to
Team members, yeah.
do the episodes all by myself.
You know, I meant to tell you
Yeah.
this the other day. I was thinking about this for some reason before I went to bed one night. I was just thinking about how great it was. Best idea we ever had to hire Micah. Seriously.
Thank
So,
you.
Thanks, Micah.
It's like a
Think about
sweatshop.
Micah every night before you
Micah.
go to sleep.
Yeah, I did.
I certainly do, so, there's no shame in it.
I have a picture of him on my nightstand today.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Oh, that's kind of
I've-
creepy.
Weird.
I've
Maybe?
got 7.
Also, MuggleCast t-shirts. We haven't done this in a while. We have some new MuggleCast t-shirt designs, and I don't think we've plugged them at all on the show. So go to
We always
MuggleCast.com and
plug them.
click on Store at the link, or Store at the top. And is it called Store or Shop?
One of them. It's one of them.
Store. It's called Store. And
Just go to either.
pick up these great new t-shirt designs. They are really cool. I saw one. I saw the first one at the Live Leaky Mug. Someone was wearing it, and it's very nice. It's a MuggleCast crest t-shirt. Then we also have the Lumo shirts up for sale, and we're working on one more design, which should be out around Christmas. But for now, purchase your MuggleCast t-shirt today. Help support the show. Thank you very
I
much.
agree.
Also, after much skepticism, complaints, berates, all this, it just hurts so much. Episode 57 is finally released. 4 weeks late, but hey, it's out
It's still
now.
out.
It's a bit of a mess. I had to record the second half of the show again, well, my voice, because I lost the audio file, and it's not a bad show actually. So we didn't make a news post on MuggleNet. We will with this new episode, but so check that out. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, they made
And-
you cry, didn't they, Andrew?
Wow.
Yeah, all these people are complaining about how we were just doing it to keep up with Pottercast and all this nonsense. It was
How
just
dare they.
because if you listen to 57, you will see it's a very dated show. And that's why the title of the show, in fact, is called MuggleCast 57. This show is outdated. So,
Oh, good title.
yeah. So,
That's the
Jamie, you got
one we
this
recorded
RSVP?
before L.A., right?
Right before the trip.
Yeah.
Jamie, you got the
frogs have. Huh?
RSVP thing? It's yours, right?
Oh yeah. Well, before I do, I'd just like to say that chocolate frogs have furious fights over who gets to be in the box with a Dumbledore card.
That was pretty good.
From Phoebe16 from Texas, thank you. Okay, the RSVP thing. Okay, somebody, I can't remember who because the email got deleted, so I'm sorry, wrote in to point out that I had been mispronouncing RSVP. Not the actual abbreviation, but the actual thing. I was saying it's Réponde, s'il vous plaît, and there's an S in there, so it's Responde, s'il vous plaît. Well done to them for spotting out my deliberate error, and for pointing it out, so yeah, well done. Because I did do that on purpose, just to test who was listening and who was up
Oh,
to
I'm
scratch
sure.
in their French. Oh, by the way, yeah, so instead of doing an actual segment for the Dumbledore Chuck Norris facts, I thought I'd just put them in whenever there's an awkward silence or a small gap or something like that, so let me know if you like that more.
Okay. We also have a listener rebuttal this week, and then we'll get into our main discussion. This comes from Valerie, 16, of New York, and she just wanted to clear up a little mistake we made on episode 58. I have a rebuttal regarding the veil on episode 58. You mentioned that Ginny could have heard, quote, beyond the veil because she saw Riddle die. This theory isn't possible because a few pages earlier it was stated that she couldn't see the Thestrals, so she couldn't have seen death. A lot of people brought this up to us, and it's true, but the eternal optimist could always say, well, gee,
No,
maybe
Valerie's
she was just
right.
pretending. Yeah, I know, she's right. I'm just
Thank
trying
you,
to
Valerie.
cover it. So, with that said,
So wait, so even the eternal optimist would be screwed in this regard then, completely.
yeah. But with that said,
Couldn't win.
we should revise what the conclusion that we made last week, which is, in order to hear voices from the veil, you have to have seen death.
I don't think so.
But now But
I
now the general
disagree.
consensus. I know. Wait, you weren't on the show last week, right?
No, I
Yeah,
was, but
Oh,
you
you
guys kept saying that it was death, and I was saying that Ginny had never seen anyone die.
Yeah,
You
she
did
says
say
that
that?
now. She says
You
that.
didn't say
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
did not say
Go
that.
back and listen to the show. I said
All right,
Ginny's
maybe you
never
did.
seen anyone die.
right.
Therefore,
She's taking all the credit for Valerie's hard work, Andrew, here. Oh, shame.
When the transcripts release tomorrow, we'll go back and we'll take a look.
no,
and
I can
see.
tell you exactly what I
She
said.
probably did. She probably did.
I
Yeah, you probably
said
did.
No one-
that we don't know if Ginny's seen anyone die, so there's got to be a different common link between those 4 people.
No one brought up the Thestrals, though. That was the mistake that we made, saying that
The
Ginny
mistake
couldn't
that you
see
made,
the Thestrals.
not me.
Okay, sorry. So,
Just kidding, Andrew.
so now, thinking about it, it could be a near-death experience, because Ginny was in a near-death experience in the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, that was actually in the roundup that I posted, that one listener thought that because she thought that maybe it was traumatic experiences that made them more vulnerable to the Veil's
Power.
attraction.
So you're saying Ron and Hermione have never
That-
experienced a traumatic
I'm not
event.
saying that. I'm saying listener feedback. And see, it kind of brings into question what would the level of trauma have to be.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Ron, you almost died when you were 11 years old. That doesn't count, you know? So,
Yeah.
All right, so this week we're going to talk about the Department. Well, no, this is continuing our series about the Department of Mysteries. Today we're going to be talking about time. Ben's not here to sing it with me either.
What song is it?
you're all alone,
City of
Andrew.
Blinding Lights by U2.
Hey.
Oh, boy.
Why? What does time have to do with that? Or is it? Or did you just say time in the theme of?
No, that's
He applies every
well,
word.
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about time.
Oh.
And in the song
Right.
they sing
I
time. Time won't leave me as I am. Time taking the boy out of this man. Okay. Anyway, Jamie, go for it.
Well, okay. Time's an extremely interesting topic because it has been the sort of subject of a great deal of science fiction, films, fantasy novels, and it's something you can't really explain. It's very complicated, very intense topic, and even for the most powerful of wizards and witches, when messed with, it can have dire consequences. So, and especially when it comes down to the Department of Mysteries and time, because obviously the Ministry of Magic isn't, completely, what's the word? What's the opposite of corrupt? Sorry, what's the opposite of non-corrupt? Corrupt. Yeah.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you. Fine. So the Ministry of Magic isn't completely non-corrupt. So, time when placed into the hands of a bad person like Voldemort could be very, very deadly. So, let's talk about time. Let's start off with our first question. How much control does the Ministry have over time, and time meddling, more specifically? And the first bit of that is, it took a long, long time for Hermione to get the Time Turner in Prisoner of Azkaban, and it seems because of this that the Ministry has strict controls, but maybe, like other Ministry-related things, they are open to outside control. What do you guys think?
Well, do you think that they were monitoring anything that Hermione was doing with the Time Turner?
You mean like
Because-
tracking what she was doing?
Yeah, because, it seems like if they really wanted to make sure that it wasn't being abused,
Oh,
they
yeah.
would, but at the same time, no one's ever said anything to the trio about going back and saving Sirius.
Well, exactly. You'd think that they'd restrict it so she couldn't just go back, 10 years and change stuff that she wanted to. But I'm sure they wouldn't allow her to go back and rescue Sirius, as you say. So perhaps they don't. Perhaps the tests are before she gets it, and then once they're satisfied she won't use it for anything bad, they give her free reign over it. Although that does seem a bit,
It's kind of
reckless.
dangerous, though. But,
It is.
again, it's something they would do.
Yeah. No, it is.
I'm actually rereading Prisoner of Azkaban right now, but I don't remember. Does the Ministry know that she has the Time Turner?
Yeah.
They
yeah.
do, definitely.
Yeah, she said that McGonagall had to write tons and tons of letters to get it for
So
her.
maybe they just have to McGonagall just had to convince the Ministry that she could be trusted enough to do this.
Now, do you think the Ministry is the only one with Time Turners?
Well, exactly. They're like, surely you can get one. You can't,
See,
And where do they get them from? Do they make them, or are they natural? Or
the thing is
What, do they just pop out of the ground, Jamie?
Yeah.
Like flowers?
yes.
They grow on
They have
trees.
time. They have time turner trees, and you just pluck one off and wind it back, and you're fine.
When it's ripe, of
see
course.
the thing is
Yeah.
about the Time Turner that I never really liked was that they were able to see themselves in the past, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Which,
No,
I
but
mean,
that,
Why don't
yeah.
you like it?
well, well,
Explain.
no, the
Kevin.
reason why I don't like is this. If you, when you're visualizing time, if you go back in time, right, and kill yourself, right, you would never have had the opportunity to go back in time in the first place.
No,
and therefore
Kevin,
you...
stop trying to show off, okay? Anyone can get this from Wikipedia,
Well,
okay?
that's why
This
you
has
don't go
nothing
back
to
in
do with
time
it.
and kill
No,
yourself.
but what
That's
I'm-
why you
but
don't
what
do
I'm
it.
saying
the
is-
point he's
can't.
trying to say is you can't go back in time and kill yourself because you couldn't. Because if you went back in time and killed yourself, you couldn't go back in time and kill yourself.
Exactly, and then you'd...
But that has absolutely nothing to do with Harry
no,
Potter.
I make a point. This
That's
is my
not
point.
necessarily true, though. I mean, it depends
It
on...
is, it is. Of course
on
it
what
is.
the limitations of time are. No, because in the books, doesn't it work in a loop? It would just keep going and
No,
going and going.
But if you decided
Like the
now to go
Energizer
back
Bunny?
10 years... Huh?
Okay, how about this?
Just like the Energizer
Instead of saying kill yourself, if your going back in time results in your death indirectly,
then
it becomes a paradox.
then it precludes your
exactly.
your existence.
And
yeah,
what
because-
I'm saying is, are even the dark wizards willing to go back in time knowing the risks involved in doing so?
But Kevin, you can't. If you go back in time, yeah, then you can't die, because if you died, then you wouldn't be there to go back in time. So your mission is automatically a success if you go back in time. Do you see what I mean? Well, no, it's not automatically a success, but you come back. You definitely come back.
It depends on your view of time. If it's a linear
No,
time as opposed to like a quantum time, where there's...
Yeah, I definitely... Right,
Mul-
you've lost me absolutely completely already.
What I'm saying is there's different ways of viewing time. One in a linear fashion, or one in like the quantum physics fashion, where by going back in time you have just created a new timeline where different things can happen.
Right, I see.
So
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, I'm kind of under the impression that time in Harry Potter is circular. Like, for instance...
it's like linear, where...
Well, okay, let me explain. You know how in the Prisoner of Azkaban movie, and I think... I don't often like to cite the movies because I often feel that they're incorrect, but you know how at the end when Harry and Hermione come running back and they open the doors and they see themselves disappear? I believe that the versions of themselves that just disappeared would come running back again and see themselves disappear again. Like, it keeps going and going and going. So, like, even if you do kill yourself, it just happens over and over and over again.
Which is a paradox.
But
Okay.
surely, Kevin, the time in Harry Potter is one where you don't create a new timeline because Dumbledore says that they've got to be back in the hospital wing at a certain time to replace the ones that have just gone. So surely when Dumbledore turned, after he sent Harry and Hermione off to do the thing, he just turned around and they were there and it had been a success already. Isn't that right?
But by different timeline, I'm meaning they affected events, so therefore there is a universe in which they did not go back in time, or in which Sirius died, and then there's a universe in
That's
which
interesting.
Sirius survived. That's
Let's discuss this. Do you think that Harry will visit some sort of alternate universe where things are different?
I think that would be a far stretch for the Harry Potter books.
A parallel universe? Tell us about parallel universes. Kevin.
Let's not.
No. He told us about those in Vegas, remember, actually.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun hearing about that.
I did. But what I'm saying is, my point is do you think that dark wizards would avoid time and time travel because of the implications of making a mistake?
Well, it depends. I think that Voldemort would
not
avoid it, but
Voldemort,
I think he'd make people do it for him.
Yeah, but even
it's too powerful for him to.
but
leave,
even
you know.
then, you have to realize that you can catch yourself you can catch like time itself in a loop where nothing will move forward.
That's true. I mean, if one of his followers screwed up,
Exactly.
it
So
could...
do you think that Voldemort would actually be willing to take the risk of...
I think he'd
Well, I think
entrust it
that-
to some people.
I think that kind of brings us back to who does regulate time, you know?
It's got to be
who-
the Ministry.
You can't regulate it, really.
because-
Yeah,
You could.
so that's the thing. You almost wonder if anyone has any sort of view on, of what's going on. If Voldemort would be able to know what was going on, if he would be able to somehow direct a person who had gone back in time to do something. It's difficult.
It is difficult.
Like, you can't exactly send someone a letter telling them what to do if they've gone back in time.
Yeah, it's true.
I think we're confusing ourselves.
Well, it's a very
Yeah,
confusing subject. And
Yeah.
also, is there a limitation
My head
on how
hurts.
far back in time you can go?
I don't think so. I never got that impression.
So you're
yeah.
saying that Hermione could have taken the time turner, flipped the time turner a million times,
A million times.
gone back to right before
dinosaurs.
Harry's parents were killed and saved their lives.
No,
Well,
she-
not
yes, she
necessarily
could have
save
done.
their lives, but then again, she'd have to live through those 16 or 13, 14 years. She couldn't just,
Yeah, exactly. You can't go forward in time. But I'm under the impression that she couldn't do that because if she'd done that, Harry's parents would be alive now. I know that you're saying that you can have different timelines.
It's
but I don't think
hypothetical,
that's
though.
the case in
I
in,
think
in
Kevin's
Harry
just trying
Potter.
to make a point.
Yeah, I mean, my
Yeah,
point
but-
is that the repercussions of changing anything in the past are so great that the smallest thing, if you
might as well
push
just not do
one
it, yeah.
person out of the way of a moving car, right? That person surviving
Everything
could
changes,
change
yeah,
everything.
Yeah, they could go.
Well,
on
then
and-
do you think
yeah.
that maybe the trio accidentally changed something that seems so minute in the third book, and it's going to come up in the seventh book, and it's going to make everything even more difficult?
Like,
Well, I
what?
don't have any specific examples. I'm just saying, Kevin
Instead
brings
of
up a
turning the light off, they left it on.
yeah,
the light bulb
something
burst.
just
Someone
something
didn't
Filch had to
trip.
go up
Someone
and change
didn't
the light
trip,
bulb,
didn't hit their
which
head.
triggered
Exactly.
Draco. Oh, come on, I was on a roll, Kevin. But there's no light bulbs in Hogwarts, so that sort of doesn't work out.
Should we move on to the next one? Can they monitor when someone has changed time, or have we done that? Perhaps, actually, think about it. Do you think that? Would you think that's like they can tell where magic has been,
Like a
has
resonance,
been
it
done,
leaves
but
some
they can't
sort
tell
of
who by.
yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps it's that that they can monitor that somebody has gone back and done something, but they can't tell what. So when they see Hermione going back in Prisoner of Azkaban, they just think that it's her going back to do her lessons, rather than.
Oh, yeah.
But wait a
Yeah.
minute.
But wouldn't they be able to watch or something?
Well, I guess so, but
That'd
but
be kind of
don't-
creepy, though, because that
Yeah.
would mean they'd be watching her all the time.
Well, that's just one
Which
of
is
the
gross.
They
one of
could
the rules
tune
that you
in.
have to
They
deal
could
with.
Tune in on like channel 415 Hermione.
Yeah.
Cable. you
Whenever
know,
they feel like it.
whenever they feel
Jamie.
like it. But wouldn't she be going to one class twice? So say if at 10 a.m. Say if at 9. Actually no. Yeah. Say if at 9 a.m. she's got Muggle studies. Yeah. And at 9 a.m. she's got arithmancy. If she went back in time to go to arithmancy, wouldn't she be?
Then she's in Muggle
void?
studies again.
No, well,
Yeah.
no. She wouldn't be in Muggle studies though, because she'd be in arithmancy. So as Kevin says, there have got to be two different things of
Oh my
time,
God, this is so confusing.
but they aren't parallel. They've got to catch up.
That's
at
what
some
I'm
point.
saying. Yeah.
See what I mean? Because if she goes back in time to go to one at 9 a.m., she can't be in two places at once. So she's got to be missing from one, unless it's two different periods of time. Does that make sense?
But remember what Harry and Ron were saying. They saw her in class. So what she probably did was she went to class, went back in time, and went to another class. So she technically was in two places at once until the point at which she had used
at
it.
which they coincide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that because if, say, she weren't in one class whenever she went to the other, there'd be no point in saying you can't be seen. You know?
Well, yeah, I guess, but
You're still going to run across yourself. And wasn't there one point in the book where Hermione was walking with them and she suddenly disappeared and was at the bottom
Yeah,
of the stairs?
you'd think she'd be a
Came
bit
running
more
up.
subtle. She isn't just walking along and turn and disappear. You think she'd go into the toilet like Superman and turn the time.
Yeah, but what
turn.
if they just run across one of her past selves and she just disappeared?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
no,
true.
Or if, or she's, this can't go into the show really, but if she goes into the toilet and she turns the time back and somebody's in there taking it, she just lands on top of it.
But I don't think they can monitor the changing of time, just because they would be able to know exactly what happened that night. They know that Sirius was freed
It's
somehow.
true, yeah.
And if they knew
that's what I was thinking.
Sorry.
Well, clearly
okay,
the
you
Ministry
can finish.
doesn't know because Fudge had no clue. He was just pointing
Fudge
fingers,
never has
so...
a clue.
I know, but if the Ministry did know, then Fudge would know, you know? They would obviously tell him, hopefully.
But there was Ministry presence that was there, though, wasn't there that night? Because the Dementors were going to perform the kiss.
Well, Fudge was there.
Right.
Fudge came.
So you would think that if they knew Hermione used the time turner at this time during the day to go back in time, that they would have connected the two events.
Yeah, it's true.
So obviously they can't even monitor when she uses it.
No, yeah.
Maybe that's part of why it's such a problem to
Dangerous.
entrust it into even a student that is under the watch of professors.
I don't know. I just think if they're issued by the Ministry, you would think they would take the responsibility of tracking what people are doing with them. I mean,
I hope so, yeah.
I doubt when they were trying to figure out how Sirius escaped, I don't think the first thing they checked was Hermione's time turner.
No, but then
And she
again,
wouldn't
this
be a
is the
suspect.
same. This is the same group of people that put Dementors as guards on a prison. You know, creatures that are known to serve Lord Voldemort, they're putting in charge of his followers. It just doesn't seem like they'd be all that intelligent when it came to how they ran things,
Right.
especially time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that would explain why they wouldn't check Hermione. Hermione's
Well,
time
I'm not sure
turner.
you can check though. I mean, I'm just not sure I believe that it's like you can log into whatever and, you know, check to see Hermione change time at 4:52 p.m., you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, maybe not, but I don't know. If you could track magic, well, we'll get into this more later.
Oh my
when
god,
we're talking
my
about
head is
how.
spinning.
I think it's good. So just
Okay. Number 2, can anyone with the right tools change time, or do you need magic in you like you need magic when using a wand? Because the wand just channels the magic.
Andrew and I had an interesting discussion about this the other day.
and then I stopped it because I was like, save it for the show.
Yeah.
But
No. Basically, we were kind of talking about could a Muggle or a Squib use a time turner, because I'm not necessarily sure they could, but my point was that a wand isn't really a source of magic. It channels the magic from its owner. A time turner is actually magical itself. So would...
Well, we think it is.
Well, it's gotta be. It's
Yeah, no,
changing
for sure.
time. It's not the wizard that's changing
No, but
time.
it could. No, but it.
Well, I mean, the
no, but
wizard
it could
does,
be
but...
magic
The wizard
that's
could
put
be-
into it. You know. That's,
right. The same
No,
way.
that's
a
not
wand
true,
does.
though, because remember in Order of the Phoenix, whenever they knocked over the time turners and they kept reappearing and falling back over by themselves? So it wasn't magic that,
Yeah, but that
that
could
was
just.
put into them. They were fixing themselves and breaking
Well, there has
again.
to be some magic in them, but you might also need the wizard's magic, which I thought that's what you were telling me the other day.
No. I was saying that you need a wizard's magic to use a wand, but I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily sure you need a wizard's magic to use a time turner.
When you say change time, do you mean specifically with a time turner, or is there another way that you're talking about?
Well, we know that we've seen another method of time in the Department of Mysteries where that one Death Eater fell into the bell jar and it caused his head to become that of a baby's. And it was kind of different because it wasn't really changing time. It was
Changing
Making
body.
him
Reverting,
younger.
yeah.
Yeah, it was making him younger, and it was also a lot faster. Whereas with the time turner, you actually have to live back through all of those events over again. With the bell jar, he was going back and forth between being a baby and being a Death Eater within seconds.
Well, I
Yeah.
think if a Muggle or a Squib got a hold of a time turner and they just turned it a little bit, something might happen.
This is so tough. This stuff.
It
I
really
know.
is, yeah.
Now I know
I
how.
need some infantile humor to.
Do you
to take
remember,
away from the seriousness?
if you'll remember on the Prisoner of Azkaban DVD where Alfonso Cuarón was trying to explain the whole time cycle and he couldn't?
Really?
Now I know how he feels. Because it's like...
Yeah,
Well,
but
Jo-
it's
wasn't
Tad writes
Joe-
Spanish
wa-
movies,
wasn't-
so you know we've got to give him something.
Yeah. Wasn't Joe sitting with him, or was that a separate
Yeah.
interview?
Yeah, Joe was sitting with
Did
him.
she try to explain it at all?
No, she just looked at him and she was like, yeah, it is very hard.
Oh.
She basically gave
Thanks.
him that look like, yeah.
I wonder if the bell jar, like, how does it? The baby. How young was the baby? Was it a week old? A month old?
I don't know. It just said baby.
What determines how far back it brings you?
Apparently, I mean, we saw in the bell jar that wasn't there an egg in there, and as it floated to the top, it turned into a bird or something, and then as it went back down to the bottom, it would turn back into an egg. So I think it probably takes you back to the earliest, form of life, I suppose.
No, because the earliest form of life for a baby.
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming.
True.
I didn't want to bring this up because then it gets into the whole topic of when does life start, and we don't need to go there.
Yeah,
Which
true.
came
Fair
first,
point.
chicken or the egg?
Andrew, there's an easy answer to this. It's clearly the egg.
Yeah.
Because evolution says that, there has to be something before a chicken, before something evolved into a chicken. So the one stage before a chicken, that thing laid an egg, and then that hatched into a chicken.
But what
So I
laid
don't know
an
why
egg?
A chicken minus one.
Well, that's like saying
Yeah.
a mother came along and gave birth
it's not
to Adam and Eve.
It's
No,
not,
he's
it's
right.
not.
He's right, Andrew. Whatever came before the chicken, whatever the chicken's ancestor is, laid the egg, and the evolution over time brought us to the
You
chicken.
guys are such dorks,
Andrew,
because anyone else
Andrew,
that you
we're
ask
not.
that, there's like,
Look
oh,
at
I
it
don't
like
know.
this. Andrew,
What?
look at it like this. If you have what came first, the snake or the egg, okay? The egg came first because a snake with one leg laid an egg, and then that hatched into a snake with no legs, which is really a snake. Whereas the snake with one leg isn't really a snake. Do you see?
Yeah.
No,
it's
like,
all,
what
it's
we're
all based
saying
on
is
evolution.
if you think about it, humans are slowly evolving. I mean, it's so minimal that each generation has, some sort of small change to them, but it's so just minimal that you can't even notice it. Isn't there some sort of prediction that eventually humans are going to no longer have their pinky finger? One day, we're just
I hope.
humans are only gonna have four
that
fingers.
would stink.
So it's like saying, over time, like for instance, the mother who had like a centimeter of her pinky finger that gave birth to the child with no pinky finger.
Well, it's like
You know
people
what I'm
say about
saying?
your appendix. People think that it used to be a second stomach. You ever hear that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now
That
Oh,
would
that
have
would
been
be
awesome.
awesome. You go to Subway and then go
But now
back
it's
10
just
minutes
there.
later.
Now it's just ready to cause appendicitis.
First.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, like what purpose does
How did we?
This
chicken
came
and egg?
from the egg floating to the top, and then the bird floating
Yeah.
down.
Let's move from the
Yeah,
bell
but-
jar and go to number 4.
Well, hold on. What purpose does the bell jar serve?
I
It's
think the bell
research.
jar
It's
was
just
just
Yeah,
an
it's research.
yeah, it was
That's
just
it?
an experiment.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason why it went back as far as it did back to the egg is just probably the way they set up the experiment.
Well, what they're trying
Yeah.
to do is probably monitor time change in a very fast setting, so they don't have to sit there
Yeah,
and watch,
exactly.
a chicken take 4 weeks to grow.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did it in case like the parents didn't take a picture of the baby when it was a newborn. So you charge a small fee and you can.
Or they'd
take
forgotten
pictures
what
of
their
the
first word was, so they were like, well, let's just chuck you back into the time and we'll see what you said.
Alright, so moving along here.
Okay, number 4. Will time feature in Book 7? Will the trio use it again to right an injustice? And one from that, how far back in time would the trio go in order to change something? This goes back to what we were talking about, that I don't think they'd ever dare go back to when Harry's parents were alive.
And that's why I was saying about even Dark Wizards. I don't think anyone would even risk the repercussions that could result
it's
from
too
it.
unreliable. Way too unreliable.
The further you go back, the more that things can change from a single action. Because it grows off of
Yeah,
itself.
but that's why I was kind of
So-
bringing up, what if they did something so seemingly...
Well, technically they
yeah, but
did.
I mean, what if they did something so seemingly unimportant while they were changing time that it's going to come back and bite them in the butt,
Well, it really won't matter because they never had a perspective on what was going to happen in the future anyway. What I'm saying is if you are here now and you go back 5 years, a subtle change there can change
Of
the
course,
here
yeah.
and now largely.
God.
Because they only went back a couple hours, when they did end up getting to their current time, the time at which they had gone back, nothing major had changed. And that's good. But what I'm saying is, if you do go back further than that, if you go back years or, hundreds of years,
Millenniums.
exactly, the
it's a
slightest
huge
change,
risk.
one life can make a huge change. And it to the point where when you do catch up with the current time, things can be completely different.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Like, it always scares me. Like, what if there's no Thomas Edison? What if there's no Al Gore? He invented the internet.
What happens if there was
Oh,
no
yeah.
Bono?
What if there's no?
What if there's no
Can't even
Bono?
think about that.
But book 7, yeah, I don't think time is going to factor in it at all. I think we saw it in book 3, and
I don't know though. I don't.
they're not going to
agree.
pull out a time turner and be like, "Oh, let's go back in time 5 minutes."
Well, I
and
don't think so.
Make
though,
sure that
because
Dawlish
Yeah, and
dies.
There's too many questions
I think that
regarding
it has to. I mean, something has to happen with it. It might not be. I don't know. I just think that time is too important in these books not to have a place in book 7.
But I think it's a cop-out at the same time to think that they're going to be able to go back in time and correct
No,
an
no,
event
no.
that
I don't
takes
think
It
they're
is,
place.
going to
definitely.
go back and correct a major event, but I think that there's going to have to be some sort of study of time. It just seems interesting to me. J.K. Rowling put, I don't even know why I'm calling her that, Jo put a huge emphasis on time in the Department of Mysteries. She had them in that room 2 or 3 times, didn't she? I just don't think... I think that Harry is going to go back to the Department of Mysteries. I think he's going to study the Veil. I think he's going to study time. And I think he's going to get behind that door.
Why study this stuff though, unless you absolutely need
Because
it?
it's
To...
You think he's going to
I
go to
think-
the Department of Mystery and say, "Hey, I'm here to study the Veil"? You
Yeah.
let me in? And he's going to go downstairs, take out his book, and start writing with
I
his
don't
quill.
think it's that kind of study.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come back and actually have to do something with it. I think he's going to have to find out exactly what these things are. She would not have introduced us to this place if we weren't going to learn about it.
Could they solve absolutely everything, like eliminate the conflict by going back in time and stopping Snape from overhearing the prophecy?
I don't
But
think
that's
they
what
would.
I'm saying.
Too
Yeah,
risky,
I
like you
agree with
said.
Kevin here. I don't
Be-
think they would.
You can't predict what's going to happen by doing that, and I think it would really screw things up. It would not result in the same, outcome, and it would not result in the same outcome, and things would be really screwed up. But for all you know, by not letting Snape hear the prophecy, something else happens that results in Harry's death. And then,
Yeah.
oops, now you have Voldemort running around without Harry to
Well,
stop
yeah,
him.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, plus you have to live through 16 years.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
And by the time you catch up to yourself, you're not even going to know what's going on. So,
And do you age? That's another question. Do you age in time? Like, would he be 16 years older than he initially was?
when he
so
went
he would
back.
go back
No.
in time at 16, and then
I don't see how time can
No.
stop you.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
still moving.
it's time. You can't stop yourself from aging.
so he would
So if you
arrive
go
at
back
32.
to that the night of the prophecy. Yeah, exactly.
Basically, like, let's say that Hermione goes back 100 years. She's gonna die before she gets back to where she was. I know that's,
So
not,
does she
that's not a
stop-
cheerful thought, but that's
So
what I
does she stop existing at the time she went back? That's the question.
Yeah.
If she,
Kevin, you're twisting my brain here. I can't.
in
can't
Prisoner of
do this.
Azkaban, if they replace themselves that went back in time, doesn't that mean that she'll never catch up to herself that goes back in time, so she'll just die and stop
I don't know.
existing?
That's too
It's a little
complicated.
too
Way
far,
too
Kevin.
complicated. But the one thing I do know is that the only time Dumbledore was wrong was when he thought he'd made a mistake. Thank you, Austin15 from Texas.
That was in an awkward moment. Kevin was on a roll there. He
I
had to
was on a
break
roll.
Oh
it.
yeah, no, he wasn't a roll. Sorry, I just. Oh no,
Way to
no,
go.
it doesn't own. It doesn't only have to be in awkward moments. I just thought it seemed like a nice time for it. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
Kevin. Go on.
Oh,
I,
I'm
this
good
time
now.
stuff is so complicated.
Yeah,
though.
I think we're gonna make everyone
It
sick.
doesn't matter though. It's
Yeah.
gone pretty well.
Okay, should we move? Should we skip out 4?
You know what we're going to
Should we-
do? We're
should
going
we
to
skip
cause
out that
a
one?
number of accidents.
I
Because
know.
people will be concentrating on time so much, they won't be concentrating on driving while listening to us, and they're just going to start hitting other.
But then we can just go back in time and save.
Oh,
them.
that's
We can
true,
Go back
yeah.
in time and
Yeah.
not record the show, and then they'll be fine.
You're
so
right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Why is it so important that you are not seen when traveling back in time? And is it that you can't be seen at all, or just not by yourself. I actually saw a TV program a few years ago where you could go back in time and see yourself, but you couldn't touch yourself. And if you touched yourself, it caused like a universal paradox, and the entire universe exploded.
I think what it is, you can see your past self,
Yeah.
and other people can see you, but your past self can't see your future. You know what I'm saying? Because like the trio all saw their
there's
past
no way.
selves whenever they went back, and obviously
There's
tons
just
of
no
other
way that
people
they didn't see
saw
her.
Hermione's multiple personalities wandering around the school.
I thought that they described some of the consequences. Wasn't it that like you can't predict what
You go mad, yeah.
you
How?
can't predict
if you know
what
you have
the
a
other
time
person.
turner, then, and you see,
Yeah, well, that's one thing, but
Yeah.
you can't really predict. For example, if Harry had seen himself prior to knowing there was a time turner, what is Harry going
He'd
to
think
think?
he was his dad, maybe again, just like
Yeah,
to
right.
himself,
Either
you know.
that or kill him.
Right, Jamie, what would you do if you saw yourself walk into a room?
I would challenge myself to an arm wrestle and then see who wins. That'd be awesome. Challenge myself to a fight.
Yeah, but see, the problem is,
Would
is
either
that
win?
other people can look like you
Yeah.
by use.
Yeah, what if...
By
Yeah, but not
using-
identical.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, look at Moody. He was Moody. Everyone knew him as Moody, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
So
what
if
happens
Harry
if
saw
you run into
Oh,
himself,
you mean so? Yeah.
the first
you
thing
could
he's
just
gonna
think it was somebody-
assume is that it's someone disguised as exactly. Pull out his wand and try to kill him. So now you just killed yourself in the future.
I think you'd be a bit hasty to
yeah.
just kill him. to be
I
honest.
don't know. I mean, you can't predict your reaction to seeing yourself.
Well, I mean, in Hermione's case, if she said the rule was, I'm not allowed to let the other version of myself see me, but if you know you have a time turner,
Maybe it's a little different then, but I mean, Dumbledore continually said you can't be seen.
I guess that
So
makes sense if
obviously-
people
As
see
a-
two of you, because maybe the Ministry doesn't want anyone knowing who has time turners, because then, like, say, Malfoy could, if Malfoy,
Yeah, but can you
Well, hold on,
imagine?
if Malfoy knew that Hermione had a time turner, Malfoy could get Hermione to maybe take him back in time to, change something to cause some sort of damage. I'm
Yeah, but-
saying just a little
but can you
incident
imagine,
in
like-
the past day, not like,
I'm just not even sure that Hermione could even if you have a time turner, that you should be seeing your future self, because what would Hermione have done if she'd seen herself rescuing someone that she thought was a criminal? Because obviously if her past self had seen her future self saving Sirius Black, she would have been like, what was I thinking? Or what will I be thinking?
What if it's event specific, and think about the people that are involved when it's going on during school hours, and most likely people know that, at least among the teachers, that she's using it. There wouldn't be any cause for concern. But think of all the people that are involved in the situation when she goes back in time at the end of Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, it's true.
Would you really want somebody like Snape seeing you? Would you want somebody
Yeah, that's true.
like
Because
Wormtail seeing you?
because
Yeah.
what use would you have for going back in time at that situation? And
Right.
they're going to immediately assume that you're changing something for the better or for your own reasons. And I'm sure
Yes.
that's not going to fly with the Ministry. So
Yeah.
I think it's just the repercussions of possibly changing things or seeing yourself out of context and doing something drastic.
I think our brains have all been appropriately twisted now.
If you aren't
Getting
bleeding
pretty,
from the
yeah.
ears yet, you will be.
Well, for more on time,
For more on time, go to level 9 on MuggleNet, which I thought was pretty comprehensive, but after talking about it on the show, I realised it barely skims
Maybe
the surface. But still
you
go
should
there
provide a link on level 9 to this episode of MuggleCast.
I should. It is mugglenet.com/level 9, I think. Let me just check that quickly.
Yeah,
Is 9
it's
spelled
slash
out
level
or is
9.
it the
It's spelled out. Guys, last week we tried to give Laura Mallory a call, and we asked if
Did we?
maybe, yeah, we did, and no answer. Got the voicemail, said your call is very important to us. Ben left a message, asked her to call us back, and no response. So
Imagine
let's
that.
you want to try giving her a call one more time, and give her a call one more time, and see if she maybe answers this time.
Yeah,
What-
let's do it.
She's in Decatur, Decatur, Georgia.
Decatur.
Decatur. Okay. One.
Decatur.
Her number is, for anyone at home who wants to give her a call.
Andrew, don't do that.
Now, you guys can't talk to her because we're on speakerphone, but she's not going to answer.
I would laugh if she did.
I know
Shut up.
she's going to pick up. It's
Andrew,
awkward
be nice.
moment.
Kidding.
Okay. Just be polite, whatever you do.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice
Oh.
message system.
Oh, jeez.
Laura Mallory is not available. At the tone,
This
please
is a different
record your
number.
message. When you have finished
Is that her
recording,
someone?
Yeah.
you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Laura. This is Andrew Sims from MuggleCast. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about your concerns with the Harry Potter series. You talked to my associate, Ben, last week. Well, he left a message on your phone at home. And he said, well, in your voicemail, it says that your call is very important to us, but unfortunately we didn't get a call back. So we'd like to have a small interview with you on our show. Gets about 1 million listeners a week, so it'd be a big time interview. So give me a call back. My number is 609-668. Thanks. Bye. Well,
Bad.
That was
not
fun.
bad. Very professional, Andrew. Very
it's
professional.
very
We
upsetting.
have about 1 million listeners a week.
I want to make it a
Yeah.
hot sell. You know what I'm saying? Now, Jamie, you weren't on the show last week, and we had a little discussion about
Right.
our time in California. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Well, I don't want to repeat what everyone else has said, but I'm sure the word awesome has come up a lot of times from what other people have said, and you'd all be right if you called it awesome. It was absolutely awesome. It was fantastic. And the leaky mug, sorry, not the leaky mug, I don't know what I'm talking about. The time at Santa Monica Beach was so good. I felt at peace with nature there, you know?
Yeah. Especially
I
when you made
felt- I
contact
felt
with the
as
water.
one.
I bet.
Yeah, I did. Well, you see, what happened was, people were going in left, right, and centre. John had gone in, Andrew had gone, you'd gone, and Ben just said to me, right, you're going in. Now, instead of arguing with him, and he is quite a bit bigger than me, so he could have just picked me up and thrown me in, and I'd have ruined my cell phone and everything. I just said, all right, Ben, I'm going in. So I took my phone out of my pocket, took my wallet out and all my bucks, man, and I put them down, and then Ben just picked me up and threw me into the water, and it was freezing, absolutely freezing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome, absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So.
And the podcast awards were very cool as well. I felt very proud being there and picking up that award and the microphone
Proud
and
and
everything.
excited.
And very proud and excited. And there was a party going on all day with cake and all day
And ice cream.
Cake
Sunny
and
D.
But,
cake and fruit punch.
Yeah.
cake and fruit punch, yeah, and it was awesome. And the leaky mug went very well as well. It was great to meet everyone out there, and I actually got thank you very much to the people who all got me Lucky Charms. I ended up getting 5 boxes of them. So we
Yeah,
had a feast
did you
that evening?
did you
in
get
the,
those on
Leaky
your
Mug
plane?
room.
Did they allow all that stuff?
Yeah, I did. Well, we ate quite a few, there and then, but I put the other ones in my suitcase, and I've still got some left over, which is quite cool. And thank you for all the other presents as well, and just. LA is an amazing place, and I had a really, really good time there. So thank you to everyone, and it was great
Didn't
to see
you meet
guys
somebody?
as well.
Thanks.
So I met
Didn't
somebody.
you meet somebody you've been waiting to meet for a long time at Disney World?
No, I didn't meet him, did I? I didn't meet him. He was gone.
We only saw him once,
He was
and he
having
was
a day off.
very busy. So.
Huh?
You're talking about Mickey, Jamie?
You
Or
didn't
Mike?
meet him.
Yeah, we're talking about Mickey.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Mickey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did. Oh no, I think I waved at him and he waved at me back. But to be fair, I was slightly disappointed. I was hoping for a hug, a handshake, and a
One
photo.
other listener rebuttal we got this week comes from Ryan, 21 of State College, PA. He writes, Micah,
Yeah.
you seem to be one of the most active on this topic, so I figured I'd just send this one to you. Joe said there weren't executions, just studying death. Is it possible that the observers were studying ghosts that came out of the veil? Is the veil the gateway back to Earth if you choose to be a ghost? We're supposed to figure out more about the veil and more about how people become ghosts, so I figured it might be a connection. Also, check out the Onion Radio Network podcast. It might be suited to your humor. There's a plug for you. Signed, Ryan.
Well, I'll answer the second part about the gateway back to Earth. I think it would be more of a gateway to whatever afterlife there was. We talked about that on the last show, that if this ministry is built around the veil, and the veil is sort of the gateway to the underworld maybe it's possible that those people's souls who don't go to the underworld, that they do come back through the veil. I don't know. It still wouldn't explain why the ghosts just can't, pop on through the other side, and that no ghost came through the veil at all while they were there.
Because they can't.
You think they're trapped?
No, I just don't think that it's like saying.
So basically, you're telling Ryan. No.
Okay, here's why I think that, though. Because Nearly Headless Nick didn't know anything about the veil. If it were somewhere that ghosts came from, he would obviously know about it. He said that he didn't know anything about death or what came after it because he chose his feeble imitation of life instead.
Shut down, Ryan.
And I love the silence.
Shut down.
So hopefully we answered your question, Ryan. I don't think that anything can come back out through the veil once it's already behind there. And I think that's why they're studying it.
Yeah. Pretty sure could they.
Okay, I don't have one, so I'll
you
just
never
say
have one.
I would. No, I know. Well, I feel like
it used to be a huge segment.
I would
now.
tell you.
It's just
I would tell you the joke about the pen, but you probably wouldn't get the point.
Oh.
That was good.
Okay, I need some new ones. I'll find some for next week. I'm sorry. I just feel like I've used them all already. I know that you can't really use every single joke in the world.
Especially in only 59 episodes with one joke a week.
Yeah,
and
specifically,
on episode 3.
I think there are a few more than 59 jokes in the entire world. So
well,
I'll
it
get some
doesn't
for next
matter,
week.
Jamie. They can't be jokes from the entire world. They have to be British jokes. Duh.
That's
yeah.
true. So there's only like 80.
That's very true. And I do happen to know that there are only 59 jokes in all of Britain. So I'm going to have to go back and start repeating.
We'd like to remind everyone that if you'd like to send in a voicemail question to be aired on this show, make it a general question about the series. To contact us, our P.O. Box is MuggleCast, P.O. Box 223, Mountain Ridge, Kansas, 67107. All that stuff is sent to Ben, and he forwards it all to us if it's for us. If you'd like to call us to leave those voicemail questions, if you're in the United States, you can dial 1-218-20-MAGIC, which is 1-218-20-62442. In the UK, you can dial 020-8144-0677. And if you're in Australia, you can dial 02-8003-5668. Speaking of Australia, no word yet if we picked up the Kids' Choice Awards for Fave Podcast.
Hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds. So
and
we'll have an update on that next week.
we should thank everyone for sending in the EA questions. We got a crap load
Yes,
of them.
thanks for sending in the EA questions. Kevin, tell us about all the EA questions.
I can tell you the most common question if you want me to.
What?
I
What is
got
it?
it
What
about
is it?
100 times. Is a new game open world, or is it requiring you to go through step by step,
Oh, okay.
where you can fly
That's a
around the
good
whole
question.
I
world?
think it's open world.
We shall see when they
Just ask
answer.
me. You can also Skype the name MuggleCast, leave a voicemail question. Just keep your question under 30 seconds, and eliminate as much background noise as possible.
Keep it under 3 seconds from now on.
Yeah. You can also email us. You can just use our first name at staff.mugglenet.com or use the feedback form on MuggleCast.com. We also have a new community section on the new community website. You can visit our MySpace, Facebook, YouTube group, Frapper group, or even the MuggleCast fan listing and forums at MuggleCast fan.
Basically, what he's trying to say is there are so many ways to contact us. You've got no excuse at all
We're
to get
everywhere.
get writing, emailing, phoning, sending, mailing.
Yes. There's something else I was gonna say.
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Dumbledore does not speak parcel tongue. The snakes just speak English out of sheer terror. Actually, Michael 17 from Sydney said that.
Very good, Michael 17 of Sydney. So that does wrap up MuggleCast 59. We'll be back with 60, returning 60 next week. Once again, I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Jamie Lawrence.
I'm Kevin Steck.
I'm Laura Thompson.
And I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
This week we're going to have fun with a new segment, and we'll get back to all of our normal segments next week. We're calling it This Week in Steck. It's a ripoff of This Week in Tech, and we know it, but it just works so well that we have to do it. So, We want you guys to send in your technical questions, but Jamie's got a question for This Week in Steck this week that he hopes Kevin could answer for him. Is Jamie not here?
Sorry. Yeah, so I think we just made this so I could get my computer problem solved, you know. I think that's it, Andrew. Okay, Kevin. Okay, I have a wireless network in my dorm. Okay, and I get a perfect signal. Okay, on my laptop, perfect, excellent signal. But the internet keeps dropping, and it'll die, and then Google won't load, and then every other website will load in like 8 minutes, and then it'll crash, and then AIM will crash, and then MSN won't load. Why is this when I've got a perfect signal?
Okay, where is the router located?
It is downstairs.
And so it's passing through floors, I assume?
Yeah, but it's a
Like
perfect
how many?
signal. I get
Well, see,
one.
the thing is that all wireless signals run on a certain frequency.
Oh, okay.
So
I know it's
you're
on
running on a
channel
2.4
11.
gigahertz frequency.
Yeah.
So anyone with a 2.4 gigahertz phone running on the same channel can
interfere. Should I
interfere.
change the channel then?
Yeah,
Because
actually, if you go to the lowest range, like
Yeah,
channel
1 is
1
that,
or
is it?
channel
Yeah, okay.
11, or the
Okay.
maximum range, it tends to help.
It's on. I know it's on channel 11 now. So shall I change to 1 and see what happens?
Yeah, try changing to 1 and see how
Yay!
it goes.
Thank you, Kevin. That concludes This Week in Steck this week. I will tell everyone next week if my wireless network is performing perfectly.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm sure it will.
That needs a second press.
That was easy.
It's too easy for
Yeah.
Kevin Steck. What can't he answer?
I know.
Oh, Andrew, we have a rule in this house where you can't press the easy button unless something was easy.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, it's like a grave, violation of rules if you press it when something hasn't been
Is
easy.
it a hot item in your house?
Huh?
Is it a hot item in your house?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
good.
like, and any person who presses it has got to explain why they pressed it and why something was easy before
Oh,
that. Yeah.
jeez.
It's awesome.
Best $5 I ever spent for you.
Oh, wow.